Welcome to this lecture on Module 6 Interaction Styles and Communication. Today, specifically, we'll see colors. Coming to primary colors. So, in schools, we have been taught that red, yellow, and blue are the primary colors. Well, that works okay for mixing the paints uh, when colors are basically dull when mixed. You might have seen that. This is not so good for mixing light. This is only good for mixing paint. Now, so far as our viewing system, our visibility system is concerned, visual system, cones in the retina, they perceive color in three different wavelength ranges. So these are red, green, and blue, which are typically considered to be the primary colors for dealing with light. Now, so far as perceiving color is concerned, there is one theory called as tri-stimulus theory, which attempts to explain how humans perceive color. A color here is defined by three coefficients for red, green, and blue. So each of these colors will be having their own coefficients. Now these coefficients will act as a percentage because the sum of these coefficients must be equal to 1. Now we know that natural light is a mixture of all wavelengths which are visible to human eye. If all three types of cones they sense equal amounts of light, we perceive white. Now we can simulate this white color by having the red, green, and blue component in equal amounts. Now we'll come to color models. Humans basically can distinguish between 1 and 2 million colors, but that's a very big range of colors, and that's why it is impossible to describe that in words. So we use basically color models to describe these colors. So common color models include red, yellow, blue, RYB it is called as red, green, blue, RGB it is called. Then CMYK for cyan, magenta, yellow, and black, and HSB for hue, saturation, and brightness. The first is RGB color model, red, green, and blue. It's an additive color model where if no colors are present there, it will give out black. Black color will be seen. And if all the colors are present, we'll see a white color. So this effectively generates different shades of colors by adding different wavelengths of light, and that's why it is used for systems which emit light. For example, there can be monitors, lights, TVs, etc. So here the values for RGB basically range from 0 to 255, and that can also be expressed in percentages. So the secondary colors for red, green, and blue are cyan, magenta, and yellow. So these are the secondary colors which are used in the second model, which is called as CMYK, where K stands for black. Here, no colors are taken to be white because basically you must know that CMYK is basically used in systems, for example, which don't emit light. For example, in printing, different paints will be mixed to generate different colors. But even though it's a subtractive system, we'll see, as we have just seen, this is used in systems which reflect light for us to perceive. That means they'll not the light wavelengths will not be there. They will be there, but that will be a reflected light. So basically, this is used most often in printing. The paints used will absorb some wavelengths, as well as they will reflect some light wavelengths. So only the reflected components will be seen here. Here it is opposite. If no colors are there, I mean no paints are there, that will be white. So that means if there are no paints, no light wavelengths will be absorbed by any paint, because there are no paints. If a paint is available, that will be absorbing some light waves and will be reflecting some light waves. In the same way, if all colors, all paints are present, they will be absorbing all the color wavelength, light wavelength, and that's why black will be perceived, that will be seen kind of. So this is a subtractive color system, CMYK, and used in printing. The secondary colors for CMYK, obviously, as we have just seen previously, they are red, green, and blue. Here the K stands for black. This is used separately because mixing the basic colors C, M, and Y will not produce, because they are produced with the inks cyan, magenta, and yellow. So their combination will not produce a good black color, and that's why black color is used separately. So whenever a CMYK color scheme is used in monitors, I mean computers, where I mean we propose to be using RGB rather, the RGB colors are converted by software to CMYK. Coming to the next color model, which is HSB, hue, saturation, and brightness. So that is represented here. The color values or the colors are represented as a cone. Now, the meaning of hue. The hue means the name of that color. This is most of the time shown as a color wheel, as can be seen here. Here, the hue is expressed as a numeric value, which is nothing but the degree at what the color is on the color wheel. Next is saturation, which represents the purity of the color. This is also expressed as a percentage. For example, white, black, and gray, they are not having any saturation of any color, and that's why they are all 0%. Next is brightness in HSB. Here the color will fall between white and black. Where exactly it falls between white and black, that will be the brightness value. Here, this is also expressed as a percentage. Most importantly, as brightness decreases, there is less range for saturation, and that's why we can't perceive differences in each of hue as well as saturation in dark colors. Now we have seen different color models. There are limitations for the color models as well. Not all color models are equal, so there are differences. One we have seen, that was red, yellow, blue, RYB. This is good for picking colors, as we have seen in creating the paints that we have seen in the first example. Next is RGB, which is great at I mean for the systems which are emitting lights. So great for monitors and hardware. But it is difficult to figure out what values for RGB and CMYK without using a tool, that may be a software tool, to help. For RGB and CMYK, we require a software tool. Not all colors can be expressed in all models. For example, CMYK has problems with colors with high saturation and brightness. Uh, True red cannot be properly displayed in CMYK. RYB and HSB use circular systems for visualizing colors, that is good for selecting colors to work well together. Now, there are some color harmony schemes. Now, if you consider human beings, they are all perceiving different things based on their personal characteristics and culture. For example, color is also can be taken to be good or bad based on their personal likings or depending on the cultural values as well. Some may get black to be not that good depending on some values. So now that we want to design a system which will be seen by many different peoples and we don't know how they are, and how to design a system with some colors which appeal to a lot of people. So this is the place we need to use the color harmony schemes. If we can use color harmony colors in those schemes, color harmony schemes, we are sure that we'll be sure that they will be appealing to most of the people. So different color harmony schemes are as monochromatic, complementary, analogous, triadic, and there are many more such. The first is monochromatic. Here the hue is constant, or that uh, very close hue is selected. Only the saturation and brightness can vary. That means the color will be same, but different shades will be achieved. If you can see different columns, different color shades which are present in different columns, you'll get the monochromatic scheme, harmony scheme. So the colors in one particular column are monochromatic, but with different shades. That is, the saturation brightness is only changed. Next is complementary. Here, the pair of colors on opposite sides of the color wheel are used. If you see this color wheel, now this color is exactly opposite to this color. So in this way, these particular combinations are used, which are exact opposite on this particular colors wheel. Here the hues must be complementary. That means they are exactly opposite on the color wheel. And saturation and brightness can vary. They'll produce high contrast colors. Next is analogous. Here colors close to each other on the color wheel are used. For example, if you can see these colors which are close to each other on the color wheel, they can be used. So it becomes very easy because they'll be close to each other in contrast to the previous complementary where we need to find out whether they are exactly opposite to each other. Now this can often be more visually interesting if all the colors used don't have same saturation or brightness. Here if you see the different color shades available in different columns, you'll get to know this point. Here in the previous the first column, they are not that different, but in the next columns, here the last column, they are different because their saturation brightness is also different. Next is triadic. Here three evenly spaced colors on the color wheel are used. For example, as can be seen here, uh, this 1, 2 and 3, they are said to be evenly spaced because they are having their the distance between them equal. So these hues selected form a triangle as can be seen here. So that can be overpowering. Perhaps choose different levels of brightness and saturation to make them look good. There are other color schemes as well as we have seen previously, and they can be seen on this particular web link. One more is split complementary. Here one color plus two other colors which are equidistant from the complement of the first, that will be used. For example, this color is exactly complementary to this one, and so this color may be used along with the colors which are equidistant from the complement of this color. So maybe this color along with this and this. So that may be one combination in split complementary. Next is double complementary, where two pairs of complementary colors will be used. So with that background, one may think that how many colors will be appropriate on one web page, for example, or on a screen of a GUI application. So one guideline here is to use no more than 7 colors on a page in addition to white and black. Well, that does not mean that we should be using 7 different hues. We can use 2 to 4 hues along with some other shades which will be obtained by changing the saturation and brightness of the same hues that we have taken as 2 to 4 hues that we have taken already. So we can change the saturation and brightness of those hues and we can get the remaining uh, uh, hues or shades to make them all 7. So we will now consider the color as it is important for the legibility for text and the background. We know that text must be legible, that must be seen clearly. So best way to achieve this is through high contrast between text color and the background color. So black text on white background is best option. Dark text on light background also works well. Uh, that means black text and white background is one example. Normally or generally we can take any dark text on light background. The opposite combination of white text on black background has good contrast, but that may create some problems for people with some different disabilities pertaining to their visual systems. So there are some other concerns as well. Don't use a text and background color which has only difference in the blue component in the RGB model. So one such combination is white and bright yellow. So which is just seen here, which is not appearing where the text is not that legible, because human eye is less sensitive to blues. One more thing is that don't choose highly saturated colors. Here the text will float and sort of vibrate. So one such combination is like this. So we should not be using such combinations which are the background and the foreground both are having saturated colors. So how to use color? These colors are basically useful for organizing a page. So which colors can be used for what elements is also important. So navigation sections may be having different color, portions of the text with the same color that may be perceived as being related or connected, headings, links, etc. If they are with different or consistent colors, they will be easy to identify. You might have seen that the links are always sometimes blue. So if you want to use a dark background, use white area surrounding dark text to make it more readable. We will come back to this with one example afterwards. Use highly saturated colors sparingly, as we have seen one example previously. Now because people's attention goes to these bright colors, use them to get attention, not as the main color. Now coming to whether we should be using background images and how. That may be very tempting, so that we should be using background images to increase the attractiveness of our web page. But actually seeing to that, static images can make the text look like it is floating. One example that we have seen previously. Moreover, it is hard to get readable text on bright or patterned backgrounds. We'll see one example. In general, if you think of using background image, it's a bad idea. One example is like this. This is completely annoying. If you are having a text which is of a larger font, some text may be visible, but as the text goes on with fonts of lesser sizes, that may not be legible. The fonts may not be legible. Well, this appears to be better than the previous, but this background is made up of images, and that's why that may be also problematic, where uh, the browsers are not image enabled, so they may not display the background images, or maybe sometimes due to saving the network the data, people might have turned off the images, and that's how the background images are not seen. In any case, uh, the users can't read your site because it's white text on white background. Background is not seen here, which is made up of images, because the images are now disabled. So if at all you want to use background images, you can use one such combinations where uh, white background can be used for the dark text, as like this. This can still be irritating, as can be seen here. I will come back to the most important point, which is called as the web safe colors. There are basically 216 web safe colors, which are having 6 values each for red, green and blue. So the 6 values will be 0%, 20%, 40%, 60%, 80% and 100%. So those values will be taken for each of the component red, green and blue. That was very useful where for old monitors which couldn't display more than 256 colors. Their color palettes were limited. This is in contrast with the contemporary monitors which can display millions of colors. So why we should be using WebSafe colors? So given that most people have monitors that can display more than 256 colors, it may appear that you don't have to use only WebSafe colors, but remember that different monitors will display colors differently. So it is good practice to use only WebSafe colors today as well. So the representation of colors. HTML basically uses hexadecimal notation for colors. You have to convert the RGB values from the range 0 to 255 to 00 to FF in hexadecimal. In the case of RGB, the color value may be represented as a triplet of three numbers from 0 to 255, each for R, G and B. How much there is red, how much there is uh, green and blue. So the same values can be represented in hexadecimal with two digits, as for example 002 FF for each of the three parts of the color. So an arbitrary color can be represented to be 1A, 2F, 53. So red, blue and green and blue, R, G and B. So WebSafe colors are having values of in hexadecimal 00, 33, 66, 99, CC, FF for each of the red, green and blue component. Now some colors have predefined names. So these are basically the combinations of RGB, but they'll be given names. For example, in the case of red, blue and black. So red, the green and blue component is 0 0, so only red is full, that is FF. In the case of blue, the red and green component is 0 and only blue component is full, that is FF. So similarly black here, so no color will be present, no color wavelength will be present, that's why all will be 0 0 0 0 and 0 0. So colors are basically specified using hexadecimal and decimal number notation. So these are the combination that you have seen previously: FF 0000, RGB. Green and blue is 00. Only red component is full, that is FF, that is red. Similarly for green and blue. And as we have seen previously, black is all 0. So far as usability is concerned, how we should use colors so that the screen or the appearance becomes usable to the users. Now take into account here those users which are having color blindness. The most common color combination which is maybe used, rather that is to be avoided, is the red green. That may be problematic for the color blind people. A good idea is to use colors with different brightness. For example, whenever we are printing a color image on a black and white printer, if the colors are of different brightness, they may appear to be the different shades of gray, and that we can differentiate between them. That is the reason. Now there is one color blindness website which where the link is visible to you here. So we can see a color palette in all different forms of color blindness here in this particular website. You can view any web page, including your web page, with different color blindness filters applied. So you can take up your particular combination of colors that you apply to your web page, and you can apply different color blindness filter using that website, and you can check whether all the colors are visible properly. If your pages meet their criteria, you can put their logo on your site to show that it is suitable for the color blind people as well. That's kind of a certification. So to the end, the content or the most of the content here is taken from user-centered website development, a human-computer interaction approach by Daniel McCracken and Rosalie Wolfe. The pictures were taken from along with some contents from Wikipedia. So thank you.